Good morning, everybody. I'm Stephanie Haney here for 3 News. I have your update on the latest headlines. It's Tuesday, April 14th, 2020, for those of you who might be having a hard time keeping track. I know I'm having a hard time keeping track. I had to look at my watch 3 times this morning just to confirm that it was actually Tuesday, April 14th. And then I had a moment of panic that I thought yesterday was the 14th, but no, today is Tuesday, April 14th. It is Tuesday. We are here. We have your latest updates on the headlines. Many of those updates are related to COVID-19 coronavirus. We have a couple other things for you, though, today as well. So we're going to start off like we do each day, and I'll give you the latest numbers from the Ohio Department of Health confirmed here in the state of Ohio. Those come out every day at 2 p.m. Here is where we stand right now related to confirmed cases of COVID-19 coronavirus here in Ohio. We currently have 6,881 confirmed positive cases of COVID-19 coronavirus. Now, as a reminder again, Dr. Amy Acton, the director of our Ohio Department of Health, says that these positive numbers are not indicative of the total number of cases here. There are many people who might be asymptomatic, many people who suffered from the symptoms of COVID-19 who weren't qualified to get a test for whatever reason. Maybe it wouldn't have changed their treatment plan, but we have that many confirmed right now, 6,881. And a total, now the number of deaths is a little bit confusing. The number of total deaths based on an expanded CDC definition, including people who most likely died of COVID-19 coronavirus here in Ohio, is 274. The number of confirmed deaths from COVID-19 is 268. So there's a difference of 6 deaths there, but based on the expanded CDC definition of people who most likely died from COVID-19 coronavirus, that total number is 274. Currently, right now, there are 2,033 people hospitalized, and 613 of those people are in the intensive care unit. We have good news this morning. The U.S. has cleared the very first saliva test to help diagnose COVID-19. This is from researchers at Rutgers University who have gotten the governmental clearance. So the reason this is such a big deal is this could really help, number one, expand the availability of testing, and number two, keep our frontline medical care workers a little bit more removed from that face-to-face interaction with people who may have COVID-19 coronavirus, at least in those initial stages. So the FDA authorized the test under its emergency powers to quickly clear new tests and therapies to fight the outbreak. So as of right now, that test will initially be available through hospitals and clinics that are affiliated with Rutgers University. Now, if you're watching this and you are someone who did have to be tested for COVID-19 coronavirus, you know that the test does involve a swab going through your nostril, going back through your nasal passage. It's through your nose or your throat. It's not comfortable from the people who have said they've had to go through it. But with this new saliva-based test, patients are given a plastic tube. They spit into that tube several times and they hand it back to the healthcare worker for laboratory processing. Now, with the other test that requires the swab, there are other issues as well because of the shortage of PPE. Medical care workers are recommended to use a single set of gloves and change that set of gloves and other forms of PPE when they interact with the people who are getting those tests, but this would help as well with that shortage of PPE. Rutgers University tested the accuracy of both the saliva and swab samples in this way. So they tested 60 patients with both the saliva sample and the swab test that's been being used so far. And of those 60 patients, there was a 100% match in results. With this saliva test as well, Rutgers lab can process 10,000 patient samples per day. So that's a huge number of tests when we're looking at the overall limited availability of the COVID-19 testing. Now, that's according to Andrew Brooks, who directs the Rutgers lab that developed this test. So the FDA said that this test should be performed in a healthcare setting under supervision of a trained healthcare provider, and it has not been cleared for use at home. Keep that in mind, but we have to think that maybe hopefully we're not far away from those at-home tests if this does prove to be reliable and working at a large scale as well. Additionally, as well, the FDA did say patients who test negative with the saliva-based test should have those test results confirmed with the swab testing method as well. But for now, pretty confident in the positive test results that are coming out of Rutgers University, so we'll be following that. In yesterday's press conference, Dr. Amy Acton said that the public could be wearing masks for up to a year. Now, she likened this to layering Swiss cheese and noted that the masks have really helped with us keeping the curve under control for COVID-19 coronavirus peaking here in the state of Ohio. She brought up other things like not having mass gatherings, keeping our physical distance in public spaces, and closing of schools, and how all of those things sort of layer on top of each other to stop the spread of COVID-19 coronavirus, each thing kind of plugging a hole that the other one might not necessarily have plugged. So we can expect, according to Dr. Acton, to keep wearing masks in public spaces when we need to go out and do those essential things for potentially up to the next year. So her advice was to keep making those masks and, be exercising good hygiene with those masks as well. We do have sad news coming out of Elkton Prison. A fourth inmate has now died due to COVID-19 coronavirus. The prison says that it was a 43-year-old prisoner named Alvin Turner who had a long history of pre-existing conditions that predisposed him and made him particularly at risk to succumbing to COVID-19 coronavirus. There are more confirmed cases of coronavirus, although the exact numbers are not known at this time. Now, if you're concerned about those stimulus checks, the federal government has said that 80 million people should expect to receive their stimulus check by Wednesday. The Treasury Department says this is for people who have signed up for direct deposit in the past, and of course that could be up to $1,200 per individual if you meet those income requirements to get the maximum stimulus check amount. If you filed your taxes in 2018 or 2019 using direct deposit, this should include you. Now, if you don't receive the money by then, don't worry, the IRS has set up a new tool that will allow us to find the status of our payment as well as when it will arrive, and you can access that on irs.gov. Now, keep in mind our current stay-at-home order when we're talking about the economy, talking about the need for these stimulus checks. It is in place until at least May 1st here in the state of Ohio. Governor Mike DeWine has said he is thinking about the possibilities of what it would look like to reopen the economy on a rolling basis here in Ohio and looking at those things. We're not really sure where he's standing right now in terms of expanding that stay-at-home order. We hope to hear more from that in the coming days. In national news, former President Barack Obama is expected to formally endorse former Vice President Joe Biden today for the Democratic candidacy to run against President Donald Trump in the 2020 election coming up in November. We expect that to come today in a video, according to multiple reports. Now, it was just yesterday that Senator for Vermont Bernie Sanders endorsed Biden as the candidate for presidency in the 2020 election. And when Biden first joined the Democratic race, he specifically asked Obama not to endorse him until he was presumptively the candidate, saying, quote, "Whoever wins the nomination should do it with their own merit." So at this point, Biden is the presumptive candidate to run for the Democrats in 2020. So we do expect that endorsement to come today. Now, interestingly enough, Sanders has said that his name will remain on the ballot in primary states that have not yet had their elections, potentially looking at using leverage from getting more votes in those states to hopefully sway his positions and get those into the national agenda. So we'll see what happens there as well. Now, some good news here to share with you. WKYC is partnering with the Cleveland Indians for something called Our Kids, Our Tribe. This is to support boys and girls clubs of Northeast Ohio during this time. Our Kids, Our Tribe will be a televised event that's happening on Thursday, and it'll be hosted by our own sports director, Jim Donovan. The proceeds will help cover programs, membership fees, and meals for members. During the pandemic, the boys clubs and the girls clubs have been hit hard and had to lay off staff as well during this time. So that event on Thursday will start on digital at 6:30 p.m. and it will end at 8 p.m. It will also be televised at 7:30 p.m. right after Front Row, which you can always catch at 7 p.m. So again, digital coverage starting at 6:30. We'll have our usual Front Row program at 7 p.m. and then at 7:30 p.m. that'll be televised through 8 p.m. Our Kids, Our Tribe. Now that is on Thursday. So if you would like to help out or find out how you can otherwise be involved, you can visit donate.clevekids.org/WKYC. Another reminder of something that we have for the businesses in this community and the residents in our communities in Northeast Ohio is the Love Local initiative. You can check that out by going to WKYC.com/ Love Local. So this is to alert our communities about businesses that are still open in your areas, businesses that are offering carryout, that are offering delivery, that you can still patronize in this time. If you do have the money available and you are so inclined to do that and you want to support your local businesses. It's also a portal where local businesses can go and submit their information to make sure it's up to date, to make sure that people are aware that they are open and they are still offering services during this time. Again, that's wkyc.com/lovelocal. And we'll end today on a happy note, wishing a very happy birthday to our Cleveland Browns quarterback, Baker Mayfield. He turns 25 years old today. Baker, who is married to our 3 News special correspondent, Emily Mayfield, they are quarantining right now outside of Cleveland. In a previous Instagram story, Emily did answer a question from someone who had asked her when they would be coming back. She said they had expected to already be back in Cleveland, but they're just waiting for the go-ahead to be able to do that. So we wish Baker a very happy birthday and hope that they're finding some joy and able to celebrate today. Very much look forward to having them back here in Cleveland. We know we can't wait to get Emily back here and can't wait to see what's going on. And tomorrow, we get to look forward to those new Browns uniforms being revealed. So that's something else to look forward to. All right, that's your update for now for the morning of Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. You can catch 3 News Connect at noon. That's on 3 News over the air. You can also find that on our Facebook page, on WKYC.com, on our WKYC app, and our YouTube page. On 3 News Connect, Jay Crawford and senior health correspondent Monica Robbins will answer your questions about COVID-19 coronavirus. And I will be back here at 2 p.m. I'll see you then. I'm Stephanie Haney.